Hey guys, Panzer J back here in Operation 20 Core. We're up to the Italian turn. It is 10.7. It's January of 41. So we'll get to the Italian turn. I don't think there was any housekeeping from the German turn. Things are looking pretty grim for the Axis European powers. Thank God my partner Boston Bruce is running wild in the Pacific there with Japan, but not doing so good. I think this is probably, at this point in the game, turn 10, this is about the weakest I've ever played Germany as far as what's on the board and where we're at. So we got the Russians right at the border. So they're acting friendly for now. I mean, they didn't take any territory that we didn't expect them to, but they've got a decent force there in Poland and what is that, Western Ukraine. So we're going to have to probably send some units east this turn just to dissuade the Russians, Stalin, from getting a little bit aggressive. And then in Africa, we've pretty much reached the high water mark for the Italians. Still a lot of Italian roundels on the continent there in Africa. We're going to add one this turn, but we lost Nubia, and there's still a strong force there, so I don't think Cape Town's going to hold out for very long. So we'll just try to keep the Allies occupied in Africa, kind of like a sideshow kind of thing, and keep them away from our prime locations there in Europe. So let's see what we can do. Okay, so for Italy here, they had 15 IPP. They got convoyed for $1, so they got 14. For 5, they're going to start a fort in Rome, and then the other 9 is going to be spent on 3 infantry. For tech, we're going to go for long-range aircraft at an 8 or higher, and we're sitting at stage 2 for that. So let's see what we got. It's kind of cocked, but we're going to call it a 1, so nothing. Okay, so attacks, I didn't even mark them down because I think I only have 2. So the first attack, we're going to take this coastal sub in M8, which probably isn't going to be around much longer. It's going to come over here to M4 and attempt a convoy raid. And then the other combat is a walk-on. So our entire fleet here in I-1, which is a battleship, a heavy cruiser, a light cruiser, 4 destroyers, a torpedo boat destroyer, a naval transport, and a fleet sub. We are at a major base thanks to South Africa. So the transport is going to pick up the cavalry there, and we're going to come over 1, 2, 3 with the entire fleet and drop this cavalry off in the Gold Coast, and that's worth $1. And that is it for combat. So we went up $1. Let's do our convoy rating real quick. So I think Pete does definitely have radar, so I think he's +2 and I'm a +1, so I think I'm -1. So green will be Italy, red will be the United Kingdom at a -1. Well, we get nothing. Okay, so no convoy rating, so we're not going to go out in a blaze of glory. Okay, so let's just do our income here real quick. So we were at 15, we go to 16, and I think the UK's at 21, but I might be mistaken on that. So they would drop to 20. Okay, so then we do have non-combat moves. So here in North Africa, these 3 infantry in Cyrenaica are going to move over to Western Egypt. And the 2 infantry and the motorized in Tobruk are also going to move over to Western Egypt. Okay. Let's see. I think we're good up in Italy. Down here in Africa, we are going to take the 3 infantry and the 2 artillery here in Belgian Congo, and they're going to come up 1 to the Sudan. We're going to have the 3 cavalry in Abyssinia come over to Sudan. We're going to have the 1 cavalry in Rhodesia 1-2 to Sudan. We're going to have our tactical and 3 fighters in Cape Town go 1, 2, 3, 4 to Sudan. The infantry and the marine in Buchaland are going to come down to Cape Town. The 3 infantry from Italian Somaliland are going to go into Abyssinia. And I think that's it for non-combat. Pathetically, we don't really have any more forces. Okay, so our fort is going to be put down here, stage 2. So we got 1 stage left to complete that. And then our 3 infantry are all going to go down the factory there in northern Italy. And that's it for Italy. Okay, so for income, they spent all 14, and they're at 16. So 16 bucks is what they'll have for next turn. Let's do a unit recap. Northern Italy is 5 Italian infantry, and then the Germans have a air transport, a tactical bomber, a medium bomber, and 3 fighters. Nothing changed with Rome, but let's just go over it just in case. 3 Italian militia and an Italian seaplane. And then Germany's got an elite airborne, 2 infantry, an air transport, a fighter, and a self-propelled artillery. Our coastal sub is an M4. Western Egypt now has a militia, a motorized infantry, and 5 infantry. The Sudan has 3 infantry, 2 artillery, 4 cavalry, 3 fighters, and a tactical. There's 3 infantry in Abyssinia. Cape Town has a militia, an infantry, and a marine. The Gold Coast has a cavalry. And then our fleet in A51 is a battleship, heavy cruiser, light cruiser, 4 destroyers, torpedo boat destroyer, fleet sub, and naval transport. So that is it for Italy here on turn 10. Turning things over now to Hambone and the US KMT.